The Galactic Empire's fleet hovered silently above Earth's atmosphere, cloaked in darkness. The Empire had prided itself on its advanced stealth technology, honed over millennia of galactic conquest. Tonight, Earth, an insignificant blue speck on the outer rim of the Milky Way, was their target. The humans were rumored to be primitive, disorganized, and laughably weak compared to the vast might of the Empire. The invasion was planned to be swift and surgical, a mere demonstration of Imperial superiority. Elite Imperial shock troopers, equipped with exoskeletons and plasma weaponry, descended from orbit in silent dropships, their orders clear: take control of Earth's population centers without mercy. But this was no ordinary night. The blackout. The attack began at 2:43 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. The first phase was disabling Earth's power grid. The Empire's ships unleashed EMP bursts that darkened entire continents in seconds. Cities like New York, Tokyo, and London were plunged into darkness, their towering skylines now eerily silent. But the darkness wasn't just the Empire's ally, it was humanity's. Deep in the Appalachian Mountains, an elite Black Ops unit, call sign Revenant, had been monitoring unusual satellite disruptions. These men and women weren't just soldiers. They were shadows trained to operate in the kind of darkness the Empire thought was its domain. Led by the enigmatic Captain Adrian Ghost Kane, Revenant specialized in asymmetric warfare, infiltration, and sabotage. "Looks like someone forgot to knock," Kane muttered, watching the sky light up with faint plasma streaks as dropships descended. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Sarah Spectre Voss, smirked. "They didn't do their homework, did they?" First contact. The Empire's first wave landed outside a small town in Pennsylvania. Shock troopers fanned out in formation, their glowing visors piercing the darkness. They encountered no resistance, just empty streets and abandoned homes. Their commander, General Tarak, was confident. "These humans are cowards," Tarak growled, his voice echoing through his squad's comms. "Cowards, huh?" came a voice from the darkness. Before Tarak could respond, a silent, razor-sharp projectile punctured the neck joint of one of his soldiers. The trooper collapsed, his body convulsing. Another fell, then another. The remaining soldiers panicked, firing wildly into the darkness, their plasma bolts illuminating nothing but empty streets. High above, perched on a water tower, Kane observed through his night vision scope. "Amateurs," he whispered. Voss's voice crackled in his earpiece. "They're scattering. Permission to engage?" "Granted," Kane replied. The shadows strike. Revenant moved like wraiths. Clad in adaptive camouflage suits that rendered them nearly invisible, they blended into the darkness, striking with precision. Silenced sniper rifles and thermal knives made quick work of the Empire's vanguard. A surviving trooper screamed into his comms, "They're everywhere. They're static." In orbit, the Empire's Admiral Velos watched in disbelief as red indicators on his command console blinked out one by one. "Impossible," Velos muttered. "Activate orbital scans." "Scans ineffective," his tactical officer replied. "Their countermeasures are advanced." Velos slammed his fist on the console. This was supposed to be a primitive species. The ambush. The next wave of dropships descended, this time deploying armored walkers and aerial drones. The Empire adapted quickly, hoping to flesh out the human resistance. But Revenant had anticipated this. Kane's team had lured the reinforcements into a dense forest, rigged with EMP mines and explosive traps. As the walkers advanced, the mines detonated, frying their systems. Drones crashed into trees, their guidance systems scrambled. "Time for the finale," Kane said, signaling Voss. A captured plasma cannon, repurposed by Revenant, roared to life. The beam sliced through the remaining walkers, turning them into molten slag. The forest lit up in an eerie green glow, and then silence fell once more. Psychological warfare. The survivors were allowed to flee back to their dropships, but not before Revenant left a message. Scrawled in blood on the hull of a disabled walker were the words, "Welcome to Earth. The shock troopers who escaped babbled incoherently about invisible demons, traps, and the humans' terrifying precision. Word spread quickly through the Empire's ranks. Earth wasn't just resisting, it was hunting them. The Empire's desperation. Admiral Velos, furious and humiliated, ordered a full-scale bombardment. Orbital strikes lit up the planet's surface, targeting what they believed were human military installations. But Revenant had already anticipated the orbital assault. Using decoy transmissions and false heat signatures, they redirected the strikes to uninhabited areas. Meanwhile, the real command centers and critical infrastructure remained untouched. "We're not just fighting back," Kane said during a debrief. "We're sending a message. They came to conquer. They're leaving in pieces." The turning point. As dawn broke over the smoldering remnants of the Empire's landing zones, Revenant launched their counteroffensive. Using stolen Imperial tech, they hacked into the fleet's communication systems, broadcasting a chilling message across all channels. "You invaded the wrong planet. Leave now or we'll take the fight to you." Admiral Velos hesitated. Reports from ground forces painted a grim picture: heavy losses, failing morale, and an enemy that turned the Empire's technological superiority against them. "They're not soldiers," one terrified trooper had said. "They're monsters." The retreat. By nightfall, the Empire's fleet began its withdrawal. Earth's skies cleared, but the message was clear: humanity was not to be underestimated. As the last dropship ascended, Kane stood atop a ruined Imperial walker, watching. "Think they'll come back?" Voss asked. "They'll think twice," Kane replied. "And if they do, we'll be waiting." Epilogue. Word of Earth's defiance spread across the galaxy. Other subjugated species began to rise up, inspired by humanity's victory. The Empire, once unchallenged, now faced rebellions on multiple fronts. And in the shadows, Revenant prepared for the next battle, knowing that Earth's survival depended on staying one step ahead. For they weren't just fighting for Earth, they were fighting for the freedom of every species in the galaxy.